Hi, everybody, and welcome to this webinar about building an interactive dashboard to explore the Netflix movies and TV shows. So before we start, just a few words of about the rules. Please use the Q&A section to post your questions. And then if you see a question that is particularly interesting for you, please upvote it so that we can see that more people are interested in that question. Don't worry if you miss something, if something is not clear, session is recorded and it will be available on YouTube in the next days. So nothing is lost. Also, we will send a follow-up email with all the links and all the downloads, the slides, everything that we have used for this webinar. So even there you will be informed, you will get all the material that we have been using. So no panic, don't panic. Again, for the questions, please use this question button in the lower part of your Zoom screen. And once you have pressed it, please type your question here. If you want to upvote the question of somebody else, please use the thumb up in the interface. Okay, then I think now we can start. Okay. So I was here while I was waiting. I was playing a bit with this dashboard that Emilio built. Emilio is a computer science student in the Master of Data Science program at Constance University. Hi, Emilio.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Right. So I was playing a bit with this dashboard. It's a simple dashboard, but there are actually a few interesting things that we can understand from here. It's based on the Netflix data set. The Netflix data set includes a number of movies and a number of TV shows with description, duration, titles, so and a number of features related to the TV show or the movie. So here there is, he put first a bar chart, and the bar chart is has the number of seasons on the x-axis, and then the number of TV shows on the y-axis. And then you can see that, of course, a lot of TV shows have only one season, so they're not so successful ones. But then a few TV shows, they have a huge number of seasons. For example, this last bar is about the TV shows with 15 seasons. If I want to see which were the TV shows, the longest lasting TV shows with 15 seasons, of course, there is Grey's Anatomy and NCIS. But let's say, for example, the TV shows with 7 seasons, right? So here in this case, I have 21 TV shows. And then in this tile view, I'm going to see Star Trek, of course, Once Upon a Time, The West Wing, and then you can see they are organized here 6 by 6 in this little matrix, right? Let's have a look, for example, at the TV shows with only 2 seasons. And then again, I have 6,000 here. So it's 304 entries here. So it's much more than the 2 entries that we had with 15 seasons. And you can see some of them here. I'm not an expert of TV show seasons, but you can see some of them. You can recognize some of those shows. Okay, so now let's reset it, and then let's move to the histogram that he has drawn in the lower part of this little frame. So the histogram has the number of minutes, so the duration of a movie, and then the number of movies with that duration on the y-axis. So as you can see, most movies, they have a duration between 80 and 100 and something minutes. So it's the usual 1 hour and a half, right? But if you go to the tails, for example, you can see here there are, those are 3 hours movie, even more than 3 hours movie. And that's, of course, right, Schindler's List, Magnolia, Dr. Zhivago, of course, The Lord of the Rings, of course. And then you have a few more here. Those are the really, really long movies. But you have also some movies here, they last 20-something minutes. So let's have a look which kind of movies are those. Lego Jurassic World, I don't know them. Okay, so they look like Power Rangers, like kids movies. So they are kind of movies, but they are very short, very short. Okay, so that's an interesting visualization to see, to investigate the longest lasting TV shows and the longest movies that are available or have been available on Netflix. Then in the second part, Emilio put together here a stacked area chart with the year on the x-axis and the number of shows on the y-axis. And then you can see that the production of movies and TV shows increased a lot starting around 2014, and especially when more movies were made than TV shows. This is a sunburst chart. Sunburst chart is an interesting way to visualize multidimensional data. So here it divides between TV shows and movies. And then if you take the movies, you have the different categories, right? International, drama, comedies, documentaries, and so on, right? And then let's say you choose drama, you can see those are the movies that are included in the drama section. If I, here there is a range slider, and I can slide on the year, right? So if I take 2015, 2017, then I get a different graphics, a different chart than if I take another different time. So let me see, let me select, I don't know, shall we select, for example, the dramas and see, let's see what that takes us to, right? I use here the select button, I select the movie drama, and then let's select next. Right, so here is the tech cloud with the words, the most frequently used words in the description of the drama movie, of all the drama movies. So if I understand correctly from the comment here, from the little label here, if I select, let's say, mother, I'm going to get all the drama movies that have the word mother in their description. If I select, let me see, invisible, I'm going to get the one movie that contains the word invisible in the description. There are many more. Of course, it's a drama, so you're going to have woman and son and life and love and things like that. Yeah, so world, and then you're going to get, okay, interesting. It's an interesting visualization. So, Emilio, how long did it take to build this dashboard? Was it hard to build it? And let's focus on the top part, the one with the bar chart and the histogram. Was it hard to build? How did you put it together?
Yeah, no.
I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, I can share. So start sharing. You'll be able to see my screen. No, it was not hard at all. And now I open KNIME Analytics platform, so I can show you how I did to build the top part. I will show you how I built the bar chart, the histogram, and the tile part. So the first part that Rosaria showed. So I already set up my workflow here. I already put a file reader node, configured it to read the Netflix dataset. So let's see what this dataset offers. We have some titles, the cast, country, when it has been produced, whether it is a movie or a TV show, and also we have some information about the duration. So we have duration expressed in minutes, if it's a movie, or expressed in seasons, if it's a TV show. So if we want to build a bar chart just for the TV shows, first we have to split our dataset. So we want the TV shows and the movies separated from each other. We can perform this by using a nominal value row splitter. Here I connect my data, and then I right-click on the node and click configure. So I want to use the type column to say that I want the TV shows in the top part and the movies in the bottom part. Let's click OK and execute this node. Now if I right-click and open the first output, so what is going on here, I have all my TV shows. While if I right-click and open the bottom output, I have all the movies. So let's go on to build our visualization. All the visualization nodes that KNIME offers are here in the view, in the node repository, of course, into the views category. So if we open this category and open the JavaScript subcategory, we have a bunch of nodes. We have like the bar chart that we are going to use, the parallel coordinates line, the parallel coordinates plot, scatter plot, table view, tag cloud, etc. Also, if they are not enough, if you go to this other category called KNIME Labs, and then open the JavaScript views in the labs, you have more visualization. They are more specific, like the bubble chart or another line plot, the violin plot, which is a really cool one. And they are all based on the Plotly library. But today we will just use the normal one. So let's say we want to use the bar chart. So I just drag and drop it to my workflow and connect to the first port where we have all the TV shows. Now I right click and I open the configuration window. We want to create the bars according to the duration in seasons. So let's select this. And then we move to the general plot option tab. Here we have the possibility to customize our plot. So we can put a title, for example, TV shows length, even a subtitle, but let's leave blank. And then the labels. So we want the TV, the number of season, and the number of shows. Let's leave the other option like this. Then we execute the node and open the interactive view. Here we can see the bar chart that we created. And as Rosaria has shown, a lot of TV shows has just one season. And we also have some outliers like 15 seasons. Let's go on and look for the histogram. Drag and drop as well and connect to the bottom out port. Right click and open the configuration. Still, we have to select which category. So of course, it's the duration minutes column. And let's go to the binning tab and say that for our histogram, we want like 20 pins. Also, we can customize our histogram. Let's say we want a more descriptive title, like I don't know, movies length. And then let's put some labels. So minutes and number of movies. Okay. Let's execute and open the views, all in one command here. This is the view created by this node. And of course, we have a lot of movies that have a normal duration, but also some outliers. What Rosaria didn't notice is that there is a movie that actually lasts more than 5 hours. And can you guess which movie is that?
I have no idea.
I can show you in a minute, but think about it. Maybe you've seen it. So what did we have also? The tile view. Let's look for it and drag and drop. Now let's connect the tile view to the main dataset. Because if you remember, the tile view only showed the entries selected from other charts. So to perform this, let's configure it and go to Interactivity tab. We have to check this box, Show Selected Rows Only. So this will make this node only show the entries that have been selected, in this case, from the histogram or for the bar chart. And then let's also say that we want 9 tiles, so it's squared, and that we also want 3 tiles per row. Then we can customize our tiles. Let's put the title as title of the tile. And we also want to show the description and the duration. Okay. Now, this is the core step of this process. So we want to group this visualization because we have the bar chart, the histogram, the tile view, but we want them all in one page. And the keyword here is the component. So to create a component out of those nodes, we have to select them, right click, and then create component. Let's say okay, okay. So now all the nodes are hiding here behind. And if we execute this component and open its interactive view, guess what? We have all our visualization. So we have the bar chart, the histogram, and the tile view that now it's not showing anything. But if we click, for example, this bin, we have the movies, etc.
So which are the movies that last 5 hours? How many hours?
Are you curious?
Yeah, now I am.
5 hours. So let's open this bin. It's Bandersnatch, the Black Mirror special movie. But I don't know if anybody has ever seen it all because it's interactive movie. So
okay.
Yeah, so it was easy, as you can see.
So nice. So you had only 3 visualization nodes, right? Bar chart, histogram, and the tile view.
Yeah.
But you had it, so the tile view was on the side. So this is not on the side.
Yeah. We have to reorganize our visualization. So to modify this, we have to open the component. So right click, go to the component submenu and click open. And here we can see, of course, all the nodes that we added into the component and this special node here, component input and component output. They represent, of course, the data coming into the component and the data going outside of the component. But also from here, we can select this icon here from the toolbar. It will open the visual layout. Here, the visual layout window. Here we have a preview of how the visualization of the component will look like. And actually there is the bar chart, the histogram, and the tile view, one at the top of each other. But we can customize it. So let's clear the layout. The layout is organized in rows, and we can use some pre-configured rows. So let's drag and drop this, select this one. And let's say that we want a bar chart, we want to show the histogram, but now we want the histogram in the top at the top of the bar chart, and then we want the tile view here on the side. We also have this icon here that we can click, and we can even decide the width and the height of our visualizations. So it's pretty, it's highly customizable. Let's click finish and close the component view and reopen the interactive view. And now we have some visualization here on the side and the tile view here on the right.
Nice. Nice. So if you go back to the component, if I don't like, so you have assembled everything together. So let's say I want to give a real name to the component, or I want to change something in the component. How can I change?
Yeah, you can change it with the component submenu. So from a component, right click, and then go to component. Here you have some options. You can even expect the individual views. You can share it, and there is also the setup option. If you click on it, here you can set the name for your component. How can we call it? For example, Netflix dashboard.
That sounds reasonable.
Netflix. Yeah. And you have also the possibility to add or remove ports. So for example, let's say that you want to introduce more data into your component. You can easily add a port here, and it will be shown here. So if you have another data set that you want to perform some operation inside here, You can connect it here. Now let's remove it. Yeah. And more customization are inside the component. So if you open it, this. If you open it, here you have the description tab. And here you can add actually a description. So like this component builds on the dashboard, save. Oh, and you can also change the icon of your component. So drag and drop a file or use one of the pre-selected colors. Okay, and now your component looks already prettier.
Okay. So, and the stacked area chart and the sunburst chart, you just drop them inside your component?
Yeah, they were part of the component of the workflow that you were playing with. So let me open the complete workflow. Yeah, here's the same file reader. Here is the component. Let me dig into it. And as you can see, so this is the part that I just created now, the bar chart, the histogram, and the tile view, but there are more nodes. Among them, there is a sunburst chart and a stacked area chart, that are the one that you are playing with. But before those components, I had to do some pre-processing. So for example, before the stacked area chart, there is this guy here, and this is a meta node. Inside this component, there are more nodes, and they perform some operation. So the meta nodes inside this meta node, the meta nodes don't have to be confused with components. So the meta nodes are really useful if you want to tidy up your workflow, like in this case. So I didn't want to show those nodes, and I put them inside this meta node. While the component is also good for grouping, but it also offers more functionalities like the interactive view. So for example, here before the sunburst chart, I had to perform some pre-processing, but I don't want to show I don't want to show those nodes. So let's just select them, right click, and then create meta node. Let's say pre-processing. Now they are hiding here, but they're just performing as before. It's just clearer. So other things that we have here is the interactive range slider filter widget, which has a very long and funny name, but it's also really a really nice tool, because if we open visualization, here we have the filter. And as Rosare showed, so this filter comes before the sunburst chart. So everything we filter here, the sunburst chart will be recalculated accordingly. And it's really powerful. It also gives you the feeling of really interact with your dashboard.
There is a question from the chat. They are asking, what is the connection between the histogram and the title view? How did you establish the connection between the histogram and the tile view? So how is the data passed from the histogram to the tile view?
So the magic happens because the tile view is configured to show only the selected rows only. So actually all the entries that I can select inside a composite visualization, like so inside the component, are filtered. So the tile view reads all the entries passed inside the component, but only show the one that are selected from the other nodes.
But you say that all the nodes inside, all the view nodes inside the components, they are all connected to each other. Mm-hmm. In addition, you can just show the selected rows.
Otherwise, of course, we can also like say that the tile view has to show all the entries. Like it's not mandatory, but I think it's better to give a yeah, an interaction feeling that you select and then it's showed. And yeah, you only have to remember to select this checkbox here.
So when I was playing with your web application, right, because I was accessing it from a web browser, not from the KNIME Analytics platform, at some point I was selecting the movie drama, and then by pressing next, I would end up on, I would land on the word cloud. So how did you implement it?
Yeah, so you were here playing with the dashboard. And so here, if we switch to, for example, let's say that, okay, I'm exploring this dataset, cool, there are a lot of drama movies, a lot of comedies, but I want to perform some operation only, for example, on the comedy movies. So I switch to select mode. Here, I select those nodes, and then I click on this little arrow here and click close and apply. Now what happens is that the component has an output, which is the output of the Sambas chart node. If I right click and explore this output, here I have all the movies and TV shows that I had before. So exactly the same, but this column here has been added. So if we open it, is Sambas chart selection, of course. Then you can see we have false, 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 and some of them are true. Of course, the true entries are the one that we just selected on the Sambas chart. So what we can do now is filter these nodes with a row these entries with a row filter. So we just want to retain the true values. Execute this. And we have all the movies that are comedies. And then I use those, and then I use those, only those movies. So just to say it again, those are the movies, like are all the movies, but I have the possibility to just select some of them and pass them out of the component in this case, but also out of the single visualization. And so at some point I had only a subset of movies, and I also wanted to do something with them, but I become really lazy, and I didn't want to create another component from scratch. So what I did is to use this shared component here. So you can say that this is a shared component and not a normal one, because it has this little green arrow here. But if we execute it, it works as a normal component. So it takes those entries that we selected. In this case, we selected only comedies, and creates a tag cloud. So we have love, comedy, word from the description, and then when we select something, also the table view is configured to only show the selected rows, the selected entries, in this case of the tag cloud. And yeah, and we can see other movies. So, but where did I find this this component here? So this was something that I've created long time ago, and I put it on the KNIME Hub. So if you want, maybe some of you don't know what is KNIME Hub. KNIME Hub is a repository that you can access here from hub.knime.com, and you can look for material like nodes, components, or workflow that other people from the KNIME community shared. So if we look for tag cloud, and let's say we only want components, this is the shared component that I used. So this component contains other nodes that perform something. I can read the description, etc. And I can say, okay, I want to use this component. How can I use it? I just have to drag and drop this little icon here to my workflow, and I have my share component without doing anything because somebody else made it for me and make it available on KNIME Hub, and then I can use it.
So there is a question that I wanted to ask, but actually it came from the audience. So they say, how do you, so now you have it on KNIME Analytics platform, how do you publish it on a web browser? How do you do you access it from a web browser?
Yeah, because you are playing on the web portal, right? And,
correct.
But I think you didn't even have this workflow on your laptop, or maybe you didn't even have KNIME Analytics platform.
It was totally from a web browser.
So, but how is, so this is possible because I deployed my workflow on a KNIME server. So KNIME server is the commercial offer of KNIME. It has a lot of functionalities. So you can deploy your workflow there and you can schedule them. You can schedule the execution. You can build a REST API out of them. And you can also build web portal application so web pages basically. So how does it work? I have a workflow in my local KNIME. I right click, I say deploy to server. I'm already connected to a server here. I select where I want to deploy it and I click OK. Then all I have to do, or someone else that I want to share this workflow with has to do, is just open a web browser, go to the KNIME web portal of the KNIME server, and retrieve the workflow. Of course, they don't have to do all this like retrieving because you can also share the link with them. Of course, you can.
That's what you did with me, right? You just sent me the link to the web portal installation.
And you can also choose the people that you want to run the workflow on the web portal, of course. And then you just click run, and the workflow is executing. And you can play with it like in a normal web page. Now, think about all those situations where you want to show something to someone, but you don't want them to install software, learn how to use KNIME Analytics platform. You just have to deploy the workflow and share a link, and they can play with the data. That's all. And close it. So what you can also do at this point, because I've shown you how to import shared component, but what you can also do is to share your single component. So let's say that you have some movie data, or you have, I don't know, or maybe you even want to replicate this workflow on your own. I want you to use my component. So all I have to do is to right click, then click component, and then click share. I go to my KNIME Hub, to my public space, and I create a link. So now, public space, blah, blah. Now the component is here on my KNIME Hub. You can also look it for on your own, but the link will be also added to the follow-up email in the slides. It's everywhere, so don't worry if you don't find it. And now you can take this component, drag and drop, and use it again in your own workflow.
Ah, nice. So there will be a link in the follow-up email to the component you have just built.
Yeah. We will send everything, and also everything is recorded for a reminder, so don't worry if you miss. So
there is a question. Does the custom layout in the component node only work with the JavaScript views?
The custom layout? I mean, oh, no, it's shared.
I mean, if you have different nodes, like, I don't know, the other, what are the name, the local nodes or the Plotly nodes, would would the composite view still work?
Let's try. For example, let's say that we want a line plot, for example.
So you're using a Plotly node now.
Yeah, I'm using a Plotly node, and the line plot will use the data here from the stack data chart. Okay, x-axis, grab that, and then remove this. Give it a name, and let's say what we have here for the x-axis and number of shows. Okay, let's see how it looks like. This is the single visualization, so just these nodes. It looks, of course, like the
like a line plot.
Like a line plot. So if we now open visual layout, line plot is here on the views, and let's say that we want it, for example, I don't know, in the bottom of the page. Line plot, a very big line plot. We can also, for example, put some margin. It looks nicer. Finish. Let's now see how it looks like. The dashboard, and I have just added the line plot. Oh, what happened here? Yeah. So yeah, it works also with the other visualization nodes, also with the Plotly one.
Okay, so there are two similar questions. So the first one says if it's possible to make the tech cloud dynamic to the selection. So instead of clicking next and then having the tech cloud in the next page.
Okay, so I have to say that not all the nodes are interactive, but in this case it's even harder because I can show you this node. So before the tech cloud, there are some preprocessing here because we have to extract all the words, and so in this case, it's not possible to create the tech cloud because not all the nodes are responsive, like are interactive. So that's why I had to create 2 pages and then use the data, filter, like select the data, filter them, and then do some other operation to create the tech cloud.
So another question which is similar to this one says, how do you set up the auto refresh for the data in the workflow? Because I want the KNIME consumer to see the real-time data on the web portal. So basically how to set up a refresh.
A refresh. So for example, you can either execute your workflow, like if it is a web portal application, it's deployed on the server. So you can schedule the re-execution of the workflow when you want, or you can also use the loop, I think, right, Rosario?
Yeah, so you need to force it basically. Yeah. It's not a native feature. You can force it via a scheduling option, so every X seconds. Or yeah, you can put it in the loop, but the loop makes things a bit slow, and you cannot go back. So I would use the scheduling option every X seconds. Okay. So another question is it possible to integrate calculations in R and Python scripts as KNIME components or any other high-level language?
Yeah, so if you look, I don't remember where they are, I think if you just write the script, there is the Java snippet, the Python source, or Python script. We have the R snippet, What do we have also? We also have JavaScript if you want to create your own visualization in JavaScript. And I think, am I missing something? Yeah, you can also some libraries, JPython. Yeah, you have quite a few opportunity to write your code if you are nostalgic of code. But yeah, so
And,
of course you can add your code.
and the view, of course, gets inherited through the components, so especially the JavaScript view. If you are a JavaScript wizard, you can create very, complex and fancy graphics with the JavaScript code in there.
Yeah,
Same with Python and
for
R.
example, I can show you that there was a very cool component created with JavaScript view that was the choropleth map here. So this is a shared component. I found it on the KNIME Hub. Let's import it, and if we open it, it is made up with JavaScript. So I cannot show you now because I think I have to do some calculation before.
Well, you need the input data probably.
Yeah. But yeah, this is JavaScript code.
Exactly. And then here you would get the choropleth of the world and then the nation in a heat map.
Yeah, it is on the blog post because with this data set, we also wrote a blog post that I think we can share with you the link, and there you can see the choropleth map.
So another question: if there is an alternative to this tech cloud, because they would like to display it in a more orderly, so instead of having them in every direction, probably vertical and horizontal.
You want to show the?
So the word cloud, the tech cloud node, if we have another option to visualize the words in a different way, I can answer that no. So we have that's the only word cloud node that there is now.
But you can use the JavaScript view to write your
yeah, absolutely.
Write your visualization, or maybe with the type view and just so you have to divide.
I think it has been requested, but I think it's not available yet. So at the moment, that's the only word cloud node. Another question: if you can use GPU-enabled JavaScript libraries in KNIME. I don't know that. Do you know the answer about that? I think we will come back to you on that. I don't know. Okay, so you have shown already how you might share the component with our audience. So I think if there are not any other questions from the audience, you can still ask later. But still, I think we are at the moment of summarizing what you have been doing and how you have created the basic dashboard at the beginning, and then more and more complex dashboard with different options.
Yeah, I have slides here. So we can summarize it in 3 steps. So first of all, we use the visualization nodes to build our single visualization. So in the node repository, in the views, you can use all the nodes that you want. You can even write your JavaScript code and create single visualization. Then we build the dashboard using the component. So we select all the visualization nodes and then create a component that we can also where we can also edit the view. So we can move visualization, we can add the title, we can connect visualization. Of course, the visualization are connected. And yeah, and so this is how to build the final dashboard. And then we deploy the dashboard on the web, on the KNIME server, and create the interactive visualization as a web page, so that everybody can access it. That's all. So do we have more questions? Otherwise,
there are no more questions from the audience. I think we can close. Any more questions? Last 5 minutes for questions.
So while they type questions, maybe I
think you can conclude.
I can invite, before you leave, I can invite you to the KNIME Fall Summit. It will take place in November. Of course, due to this situation, it will be held online, but it will still be a good opportunity if you want to know more about KNIME. There will be webinars, learnathon, talks, courses, and you can have more information at knime.com.
Thank you, Emilio, for this. Sorry for being muted. Thank you, Emilio, for this presentation. It has been very clear, and in a few steps you can build a relatively nice dashboard. Of course, the more complex stuff you add, the more complex your dashboard will be. But I mean, in 2-3 steps, you have already something quite pleasing and informative. There are a few questions. Let me see. Could you show the file reader setting?
File reader setting, okay. So right click, configure. It's pretty basic. So I had my data set in the data, but I can read it from everywhere in my laptop. And what did I do? It was a CSV. So I select the column delimiter. It has column headers. And I didn't want the row IDs. So it created like this, and very basic settings. But actually, let me see if I can show you. Blah, blah. So there is a quicker way to read your data. So let's say you have your data here. Okay, now there are more than one. Let's say you want to read this CSV file. All you have to do is just drag and drop it to your workflow. So the file reader will be created automatically, and also it will also try to read your data. So if it's not really messed up, KNIME will know how to read it in a table mode, and then click OK, execute it, and you have your data without configuring anything. So even easier than adding the file reader, configure, open the file, etc. Just have to drag and drop your file there.
Okay, I think we are finished. Thank you, Emilio. Thank you, all of you, for staying with us until the end of this webinar. And yeah, we'll see you at the next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.